Hello and welcome everyone. In this chapter, we are going to see the initial configuration of IP addresses in all the routers and the PCs. Since we have already discussed the topology, connectivity and everything, it's time to configure the IP addresses, and later on we will do the routing as well in this scenario. So first of all, you'll go ahead and configure the PCs. So I'll go to PC, click on desktop, IP address configuration and configure the IP addresses. Like this, and subnet mask will be /24 in the sense 255.255.255.0. Then the default gateway will be your 10.0.0.100. This is the default gateway. Similarly, go to PC2, desktop IP configuration, and then 10.0.0.2 and subnet mask, and then the default gateway will be there like this. Done. We'll go ahead and configure PC3 now. Desktop IP configurations 10.0.0.3 and subnet mask, and then 10.0.0.100 is the default gateway for this. That's it. This is what you need to configure in this. In this, now go to this PC4 IP configuration. See the IP addresses we need to define from the 20.0.0.20.0.0 range, 20.0.0.0.1 and subnet mask, and then default gateway as well like this you need to define. That's it for this. Now go to this next web server. For this web server also you need to go on the desktop IP configuration and define 20.0.0.2 as the IP address and subnet mask, and the default gateway will be again 20.0.0.100. This is what you will have to define here based on the scenario. Since this is a web server, we need to enable the HTTPS in this. So normally what you will have to do is you'll have to go in the services section here, go to HTTP here, HTTP, and just switch on. Since you can see by default it is switched on, in the sense it is successfully working fine. Your HTTP service is working fine. We will do the test later on for this. HTTP and HTTPS both done switched on, in the sense this is my web server which is running. Testing we will do it later on. So that's it, just close this. Moving ahead on this and configure the IP address on PC5 desktop IP configuration. IP will be as 30.0.0.1, subnet mask will be this, and 30.0.0.100 is the default gateway. Similarly, for this desktop IP configuration, it is 30.0.0.2 and 255.255.0 and 30.0.0.100 is the subnet mask, default gateway for this. Simple. This is how you will configure the IP addresses for your PCs and the server here. Done. Now, next point is to configure the IP addresses in the routers. So as you can see in this router 1, you will have to configure your fast Ethernet IP address as 10.0.0.100, and then you need to configure your serial interface. Your serial 1 and serial 0 both have the serials you will have to configure. See, sometimes your port numbers will be missing here, so you can drag your routers like this and you can verify the serial interfaces ID. For example, you can see this serial 0/0 connected to this router, serial 0/0/1 is connected to this router. So on this serial 0/0/0 I need to configure the IP addresses from 11.network. Serial 001 I need to configure the IP address from 13.network. So let's do that. See this, very simple. I'll click on this, go to CLI. As you know, you need to go ahead and say the no first. Of course you need to say the no first. Done. Enable. First of all, I will change the host name, and this is my host name as router 1. Then interface fast Ethernet 0/0, define no shutdown and define the IP addresses like this. Subnet mask as /24, done. Exit. This is your fast Ethernet configurations. Then interface serial 0 by 0 by 0, make sure this interface serial 0 by 0 by 0 itself, make sure 0 by 0 by 0 is connected to this, and this 1 0 0 0 1 is connected to this. So the IP address here you need to configure from this range, and here from this range. So I will configure 1 here, here I'll configure 2. Say this, very simple to do that. Go ahead and say no shutdown, IP address 11.0.0.1 and subnet mask as /24. As we know, for the /24 you need to define this as subnet mask. Done. Hit enter, exit. Then you will have to configure your interface serial 001, which is connected to router 3 here, and I'll say no shutdown, then define IP address as 13.0.0.1.0, exit. That's it. This is what your IP address configuration on this. After this, it's important that you save the configuration. Done. You can verify show IP interface brief as well, and you can see the interfaces IP addresses has been configured here. Correct? Moving ahead in this router, just check it out. See, serial 000 is connected to this router 1, serial 001 is connected to router 2. Accordingly, you need to configure the IP addresses. See, so what I'll do now, I'll just click on this CLI, go ahead, and first of all I'll say no to this. Then I'll say enable configure terminal, host name as configure as router 2. Interface serial 0 by 0 by 0 is connected to router 1. This 0 by 0 by 0 is connected to router 1. 0 by 1 is connected to router 3. So define no shut IP address 11.0.0.2. Done. So here we have configured 001, here 002. Done. Exit. Interface serial 0 by 0 by 1. Then again you need to define no shutdown and 12.0.0.1. Let's say I'm configuring 1 here. So here I can configure 2, 12.0.0.2, and here we have configured 13.0.0.1. Here we'll configure 13.0.0.2. Define the subnet mask. Done. Interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0, no shutdown 20.0.0.100. That's it. Show IP interface brief is the command. See that? All the things are configured. I'll just save the configurations. So this is how you configure your router 2 as well. Now I'll go to router 3 and configure the IP addresses now. Say this, say no, enable. First of all configure your host name as, let's say, router 3. Then I'll say interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0, no shut. For interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0, IP address is 13.0.0.100. See this? So it will be IP address 30.0.0.100 actually. And then /24 subnet mask. Done. And then interface serial 0 by 0 by 0. Just see which interface is connected to which one. That's very important. I'll just do like this, drag and drop and check it out. Yeah, see this, serial 0 by 0 by 0 is connected to router 2, 0 by 0 by 0, 0 by 1 is connected to router 1. Let's do that. So what to do now? Simple. In this, serial 0 by 0 by 0 is connected to router 2. So IP address 12.0.0.2, because 1 we have already configured to previous router. Fine, this router. Next I will do interface serial 0 by 0 by 1. Interface serial 0 by 0 by 1. And this serial 0 by 0 by 1 is connected to router 1. In router 1, what do you configure the IP address? 13.0.0.1. Here I will configure 13.0.0.2. I'll define no shutdown, IP address 13.0.0.2, exit, exit, show IP interface brief. See that all the IP addresses are configured and all are up and running. I'll save the configuration. Done. So this is how you configure the IP addresses to your each and every routers as well. Okay. Now, the major points to remember. Of course, we have configured the IP addresses. That's okay in every PCs and the routers. That's okay. The point is, if I want to communicate from one of the PC to maybe another PC or maybe server and some other PC, so the communication is possible or not. That's the question. Take a pause and think whether it is possible or not. Of course it is going to be no, since we haven't configured any routing. So what you need to do, if you want the communications, of course you need to go ahead and configure the routing. So by default, no communications. Of course, we will go ahead and configure the static routing and see the communication as well. Just to prove the same, go to this PC1 and command prompt and try to ping, let's say 30002 itself. 30002. You will get destination host unreachable. See that? No communication. Correct? No? Even if you see here, this is my server, web server, which is up and running. If I want to have the communications, I want to access the web, internet, web services from here. So what you will do, go to this and you need to click on web browser and then you need to type the IP address of the same. Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys. Click on this. Yes, click on this and then you need to click on web browser. And after that, you need to put up the IP address of your server. So 20002 is the IP address of your server. Just put up here 20002. Just click on go. You will get request timeout. No web page, request timeout. This is what the output. So make sure why it is happening, because this PC is unable to communicate with any of the PCs here because they belongs to different network. And of course you need to configure the routing protocol or maybe any routing like static to have the communication. So we'll see that how exactly to do the configuration for the static routing. Now, one question. Say for example, if I want to communicate from this PC1 to maybe PC2 or PC3, do we need any routing? So the answer is no, we don't need any routing. We can have the communication because they are connected to same network and same switch as well. If you want to communicate, you can cross check. Go to this, close, and go ahead and try to ping to your another PC from here. Say for example 10002, ping to 10002 itself. I am 10001, I am pinging to this. Definitely I should have the communication. See? But if I try to communicate to maybe 20.network or 30.network, no communication. One more thing. If I want to test this web server, whether it is up and running or not. So what I can do, I can access the web server from this PC and definitely we should be getting the response from here. Just check it out. Click on this. I'll click on web browser. It will take some time to load the web browser. That's the main reason we are taking a pause. Now see, you need to define the IP address of your web server. 20002, just click on go. You will get the web page. See that? Can you see here? Welcome to Cisco Packet Tracer. Opening door, new opportunity. Mind wide open. It's all about you are able to access the web page which is running into the particular web server. From here we are able to access because they are into the same network. So that's it. This is the testing for your same server. So we will see that how you can go ahead and have the communication from this different network itself to this particular server and how to access it. So that's it for this lecture, guys. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.